What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're going to go through this data download that Global pushed last night, which input a new Pirate Rumble Sugo-Fest. Now, look, we do know that in a couple weeks' time, we are going to be getting part 3 of this Egghead Final Phase Super Sugo-Fest. So it goes without saying that you should obviously wait to see what that Sugo-Fest is going to entail in terms of the structure, the character designs, all of that good stuff. So wait until that gets revealed before you even think about doing pulls on this banner. This banner is going to be here for the entire month of October, so you don't really have like any time stress in terms of like having to pull straight away on this banner. You can wait if you do want to pull on this banner, which I think most people are going to choose not to do that. But if you do want to pull on it, like, you can wait, right? It's not the end of the world, okay? So in regards to this banner and what's going on here, you can see that at the bottom of the little banner there, it says that fighter characters and driven characters are featured here. So if we have a look at the recommended units on this banner artwork, you've got the new character, which is the new Sugo-Fest exclusive S Snake. So yet again, this is our third S-Snake legend, which is kind of crazy to think about. Our third S-Snake legend. We have Orochi, and then you've also got the Fujitora and Green Bull legend featured here. Now, it goes without saying, these characters, really not that great. I don't think a lot of people are really using Fuji and Green Bull. Not really a lot of people are using Orochi, so there's that. In terms of the other characters that are featured here, you've got Carrot, you've got Who's Who, you've got Kanjuro, and you've got Blue Jam. Out of all of these characters, Blue Jam is the one that sees the most play out of any of them. Kanjuro is okay for a driven or striker-focused team, but his abilities are a little lacking. Who's Who is terrible, and I honestly don't even remember what Carrot does. So we can go over to the recommended characters and kind of break down exactly what these characters do, because I'm sure you guys are wondering, what does this S-Snake character actually do? So we're going to go through that, obviously. I just actually want to have a brief look at Carrot. So this Carrot gives quick and fighter characters a buff, and then if there's 5 or more shooter characters, give this character CT increase. This is interesting design with this Carrot, because I have already read a little bit what S-Snake does, and this character would actually work really well with S-Snake. So she also gives attack up, speed buff, miss percent up, and then also targets quick and fighter characters 100% chance to evade action bind, shooter enemies 100% chance of action bind. Yeah, like honestly, Carrot's not really that good, right? But if you take what Carrot does in mind with what the new S-Snake does, it's actually kind of uncanny how similar they are to each other. So let's go through this S-Snake legend here. So of course, she's a Rumble legend. She's a 40 cost character, which I don't remember if any of the other Seraphim had that same cost. 40 cost is interesting. Fighter driven, which is interesting as well, because I don't believe the other S-Snake legends that we have had that class combo. I believe the strength one was fighter shooter, and I think the first one that came out, which was Dex, I think it was Powerhouse Cerebral or Powerhouse Shooter. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's interesting. S-Snake has like a bunch of different classes. No matter which one comes out, it's always a different class, it seems like. As for those potential abilities there, recovery bind, HP recovery, debuff, and then also critical hit, which is like whatever really. Captain ability here launches the following effect at the start of the quest. You get 5 turns of 60% damage reduction. Okay. Fighter and driven characters get a 1.25 times HP and a recovery boost. Okay. It says, will boost the next fighter or driven character's attack by at least 5 times, up to 5.75, based on the tap timing of the previous attack. So the way that this works is you are at a bare minimum getting 5 times attack. If you hit a good, the next character gets 5.25. If you hit a great, the next character gets 5.5. If you hit a perfect, the next one gets 5.75. So if you just consistently hit perfects, you will consistently have a 5.75 times attack boost. And then it also says completely removes this character's own bind to spare paralysis, special bind, special reverse. Like it's just an okay captain, like nothing really that crazy. Again, if you run like double S-Snake captain, you're getting around a lot of debuffs for your entire top row, which is cool, but that only really helps if the special ability can, supplement that effect. So the special ability here, it's going to go ahead and inflict Love status on each enemy. So if you guys don't remember what Love does, it says that it binds regular attacks until they're hit 8 times. So if they're inflicted with Love, they literally cannot attack you until you hit them with 8 combo hits. So it's an interesting ability, but it's not that great. It also reduces despair and paralysis by 6 turns. That's pretty neat. And then allows up to healing up to 2 times max HP, ignoring HP limits. So allows you to overheal And how many turns? For 3 turns. Okay, 3 turn overheal is good. And the fact is, this is a driven character, so you can run it with the most recently released Super Sugo-Fest characters. And the fact that this character special, and remember, she is driven, so using her special to get 3 turns overheal, which actually triggers the EX supers of some of those characters, which is actually pretty interesting. Furthermore, if 4 or more Vegapunk, World Government, or Seraphim characters are on the crew, boosts crew's attack based on 200% of damage reduction effect applied to the crew. For example, if you have a 60% damage reduction, you get a 2.2 times attack boost for 1 turn. Cannot be removed by the crew or enemies, halves the effect otherwise. Okay, so wow, this is actually a very good damage reduction based attack boost. So what it's saying is, at a bare minimum, no matter what, when you launch the special, you're at least getting a 100% damage reduction based attack boost. However, if you're fulfilling the condition of 4 or more Vegapunk, World Gov, or Seraphim, it's a 200% buff. So we know that the best damage reduction effect you can get in the game, to my knowledge, is a 95% damage reduction, because I believe damage nullification doesn't work for this. So if you take a 95% damage reduction, at a bare minimum, it's a 1.95 times attack boost, and then if you're doubling that, it ends up being what, a 2.9 times attack boost. And this is just another attack boost you can stack on top of every other type of buff in the game. It's a pretty strong damage reduction based attack boost. Of course, she's a fighter driven, so using this character in that sense is relatively tricky. You're probably not going to use it with Odin, because the 95% damage reduction straight away comes to mind is the Psy / a free spirit Odin. You're probably not using it with that, but still, you can still probably abuse this just to get a lot of damage out of it. So damage reduction based attack boost, despair paralysis removal, overhealing, love status. It's an okay special, it's fine. But are you really going to go out of your way to pull a character such as this for that type of special? Probably not. Probably not. As for the crewmate abilities, completely evades their own paralysis, removes 3 turns of special reverse, okay. And as for the tags, you can see Seraphim and Egghead. It is a bit of a shame that this character doesn't have the World Government tag, because you could really abuse it with some other characters, but it is what it is. And as for the Rumble, which of course, this character is a Rumble legend, so you are hoping that the Rumble abilities are going to suffice. So have a look at this Rumble ability here. So fighter and quick characters get attack 8, all enemies defense down level 5. If 6 or more fighter or driven are on the team, all enemies attack down level 7, and then special CT down level 3. And if there are 5 or more shooter enemies when you appear on the field, you get a 30% CT reduction. So this is the first character to my knowledge that has this specific effect, where it says, when appearing on the field, self CT 30% reduction. So we don't know if this means at the start of the game, will this trigger? We know for sure this would work if they start on the bench and then someone dies, this character replaces that character on the front line, and then it will do a check. If there's 5 or more enemies that are shooter class, then you immediately get a 30% reduction. But this is going to be interesting to see whether or not this activates at the start of a game, because if it does, that's actually pretty interesting. Being able to launch this character special really fast is a big deal, so having a way to just get 30% reduction is good. But of course, the caveat with all of that, there has to be 5 or more shooter class enemies. So it's so niche, because if you're going out of your way to go against a shooter team, then you're asking for trouble, because the shooter team is very scary to go up against, and not too many people will go out of their way to challenge it. And if you're going to do it with a character with this on your team, meaning you're going to have a mono fighter or a mono quick team or some combination of those characters, and I don't really think that type of team is going to be really good against a shooter team. So I don't really know what they're trying to do here. But obviously this has a lot of overlap with that Carrot Rumble rare recruit that we had a look at earlier. The fact that Rumble Carrot had fighter and quick focused effects, and also had different abilities if there were 5 or more shooters. Definite overlap between those two characters. Let's have a look at this special ability. Remember, she is a debuff style character, and this special ability here targets one debuff style enemy with high CT for a 50% delay, which is massive, and then targets 2 high attack enemies for a 100% chance of action bind for 10 seconds. And then if 6 fighter or driven are on the team, target 1 enemy with high CT, 100% chance of confusion for 10 seconds. And if 5 or more shooters are on the enemy side of the field, target self for level 5 CT increase for 20 seconds. So the way that this kind of works in my head is that it does each line like after another. So initially, boom, you know, target the high CT enemy for a 50% delay. Then it does the action bind, and then it'll say, oh, if there is another enemy with high CT, that character will get confused. So this is kind of interesting because if you are building your team in the right way, being able to target that debuff style character, give them a 50% delay, and then also confuse another high CT character, you're basically stopping 2 specials from launching, which is pretty strong. And it is also very strong if this character is able to get that 30% CT reduction immediately, meaning that this can be like one of the first characters to launch their specials during a game, which allows the rest of your team to activate their specials without too many issues. So I think in that sense, it could be quite good. But it really comes down to how this Rumble ability works, whether the ability to get a 30% reduction only works when they come off of the bench. If this works just at the start of a game, I think this definitely has some potential. But again, at the end of the day, it is a quick fighter-driven, focused Rumble character. I don't think this is really going to be changing the way people build teams. I think, honestly speaking, you should be conserving your rainbow gems and pulling on a different Sugo-Fest other than this. Remember, as I said, this is going to be here for the entire month of October and even entering a little bit into November, so I think it is a very smart decision to hold your gems, wait for part 3 of the Super Sugo-Fest to drop, and then, hey, if you want to go ahead and go back on this Pirate Rumble banner and do some pulls on it, you're more than welcome to do that, because it's going to be here for a while. At the end of the day, there is a 30 gem discount multi at the start, which is good. Is this S-Snake even guaranteed? She is guaranteed after 25 multis, which is absolutely ridiculous. Imagine doing 25 multis for this character. It could not be me. But another thing that we don't know is we don't have the breakdown in regards to what other Rumble characters are going to be available. So we know S-Snake, Orochi, and Fujitora Greenbull will be here. However, the fact that it also features fighter and driven characters, some people may ask the question, is S-Hawk going to be boosted as well? Because it, again, is another Seraphim character, so potentially could debut here alongside S-Snake. And I know a lot of people still want to get their hands on S-Hawk, so maybe that could be here. Potentially S-Shark, who I believe is a fighter character, which could be featured here too. S-Shark, obviously not as ideal, but you know, we'll have to wait and see exactly what characters are boosted. Typically, they only boost, what, 3, 4, maybe 5 Rumble Legends at the most on these typical banners, so I'm not expecting the banner itself to be that great, and as I said at the start, the Rumble Rare Recruits that they're featuring alongside here don't really seem that appealing either, so I think this is a very, very easy skip for most people out there. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about this one down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.